It's another episode of what I've been calling the animated scene. I don't know if anybody likes that name.
I like it. Okay. It makes a lot of
Up with
sense.
it last week. My name is Christian. I'm joined by my partner Kaylee, a rainbow unicorn called Mel,
Yay.
and my mate Matt, who's the science master
Hello.
of this show. This is
Am I
our
waving at the...
You can wave, yeah, you can actually wave.
Oh, wow.
It's
Let's
so
do a Mexican
awesome.
wave.
We
Oh, Christian!
I did it! I got confused about what's going on.
Right, we do this again. Wave.
Are we going? Which way are we going?
My last.
Seriously, why is it just me and Mel? They can do a Mexican wave. We
It gets to Matt, he gets confused.
Matt's like, well, okay. That was
This isn't even the order we're in on the video.
yeah,
It makes even less sense.
Wait, hold on. What am I next to?
This is our companion piece to the Deleted Scene podcast that we do. That comes out every Wednesday, and these videos come out every Friday. And we're talking about a subject of one of our choosings. This week, I have chosen we should be talking about MacGuffins. And specifically, I want to open the question with which is more annoying in films, a MacGuffin or the Cavalry coming to save the day? I want to talk mostly about bad MacGuffins.
Yeah.
Things that just pop up to fix a problem for no reason.
Yeah. See, I'd say that sounds more like Deus Ex Machina to me.
That's kind of, they're in the same wheelhouse.
It's almost like a kind of a Deus Ex Machina machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it kind of got me thinking about this because we've spoken so many times about, me and Matt in particular, about how they're probably just going to quantum their way out of Avengers Endgame. And we're kind of worried about that because that's just nonsense. And that's just a form of, Deus Ex Machina or MacGuffining their way out of. They're going to have something that fixes the problem even though that serves no other purpose.
Yeah, and it's possibly never come up before.
And will never come up again as well.
Yeah.
As the other,
And the other side of that, the other thing that I mentioned is the Cavalry, which is the classic is a character that we all thought was dead suddenly pops up and shoots the bad guy in the back.
Yeah.
Like the first person, maybe even the first 3 people to do that in a story were brilliant. But from then on, it's just been trite nonsense. Really annoying nonsense. Rogue One, is it Rogue One, the Star Wars one?
Yeah.
Has a really annoying version of that.
Yeah.
Where she's on the bridge facing off with
Krennic.
Yeah.
And then the vague love interest bloke just pops up. I can't remember these characters' names.
Yeah, that
pops up
that
and
one
shoots him in the back.
bugs
And you're like,
me.
Yeah,
why?
I really hate that because that was
Her moment.
Yeah, that was her. He was her villain.
Yeah.
She should have been the one to defeat him because
Yeah.
he didn't really have a connection to whatever the guy's name, the captain was.
I can't think of
Exactly,
it
and there's no reason for the man to come in and save the day because the woman was in peril. Like,
But
they do that a lot in
trope
horror
that
movies
happens
as well.
A lot as
But
well.
also, it didn't matter because they were all going to die anyway. He might as well have just
Spoiler.
died in that previous scene. It doesn't matter. He didn't save her. They're all going to die. It was pointless on so many levels.
That was a really annoying one. I thought
is,
that it kind
really.
of in gaming. There's a thing called kill stealing, whereby basically you wait for another player to almost kill the enemy, and then you come in and hit him with the last thing, and then you get the experience instead of them. And that's what it felt like for me for that one. So yeah, that's quite a good. But yeah, when you said kind of MacGuffins, it's one of those things that always gets complained about, and then all of the examples that I could think of were like the Pulp Fiction ones, where kind of but it actually kind of works there.
I might be thinking more Deus Ex Machina kind of
Perhaps,
something that exists or just happens to solve a problem rather than being an inciting, like the briefcase or the money, or as we're saying there. They only exist for that one purpose, but they're to kick off the story.
Yeah, they're a motivation.
They're not solving a problem.
Yeah.
The one that does spring to my mind is the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, which can fix literally anything unless the plot doesn't want it to.
Yeah. And again, another one from a series is the Star Trek. They're kind of.
I was going to say, it's a typical.
The Widdly Wee machine.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Planet's made of Widdly Wee.
It's a typical thing in sci-fi more often than not because people have to create something that can solve a lot of problems that obviously doesn't actually exist, and then also use as a narrative device when things. So yeah, it's a thing that you see massively in
It's also a lot
sci-fi.
easier to do in sci-fi. I don't think they necessarily have to do it for sci-fi, but you can, because so much of it is going to be made up because it's all this idea of if you set something in like today's world, you can't randomly have a device that doesn't actually exist to then fix something. But obviously with sci-fi, you can be like, well, I can have anything I want, can I? So you can kind of get away with being a little bit lazy about
kind
it.
of things like the faster than light travel.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that solves the problem of the fact that if we had things going on different planets, it would take, you know, months to years to even get to another planet in our solar system. Whereas if you just have a box that you can press and you can jump through time, or whatever, then that kind of solves that problem. It kind of moves along into have you ever heard of the terms hard and soft magic systems? So a good example of a soft magic system is the Lord of the Rings. We know that magic exists, and it can do powerful things, but you don't really see many people casting lots of spells and things like that in it. Whereas a hard magic system has got very, very rigid rules. So in kind of gaming terms, like Dungeons and Dragons, spells do specific things and they cost specific amounts, so you can use them for these things and these things only. And what the way it kind of links is if you've got a hard system like that, you can either say, oh, a wizard did it, or your wizard can think up a new way of using those specific rules and terms to get around the fact that they can't do this. Do whatever it is they need to do. So I haven't seen it, but apparently Full Metal Alchemist is a very good one for that, whereby the magic has got very set up rules and boundaries to it, but the way that it's very clever that it's the way that it's written that people get around those rules without actually having to break them and just say, oh, whenever you see something like that, a wizard did it, sort of thing.
Right.
And again, that's more satisfying than just having someone click their fingers and solve the problem.
And you've got quite a lot of that happening in the first Avengers film, Avengers Assemble, because they use
Avengers Assemble with MacGuffins its way out at the end.
A lot of MacGuffins.
Yeah, it goes, oh no, we don't know how to shut down the portal. It turns out this thing over here can do it. Okay.
Yes.
Like, good, I guess.
Exactly.
Well done.
It's just like,
they didn't achieve anything.
We need Loki.
And they've also someone happened to fire a nuclear weapon at them, and we can poke it into the hole, and then everyone else will pass out for some reason.
Yeah, it does. It switches off all the other things.
I mean, it's a great film. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my god, yes.
That is
very MacGuffin.
Convenient.
2 MacGuffins for the price of one.
Yeah.
I found a Screen Rant thing that was terrible MacGuffins in films. And does anybody want to think what the first one?
I can already see.
Well, what the first one? Won this top prize by the Screen Rant was the mother boxes in Justice League.
Right, yeah.
Which I completely forgot actually happened. So there we go.
They were so stupid.
They were like the Infinity Stones, except they never ever established what it is that they do.
Yeah.
But they were
They
in
just
different
do
places,
whatever.
and he tracked them down.
Yeah.
For some
So one was
reason. I can't remember.
on
The Amazons had
looked after
one.
by the humans. Yeah, one was looked after by the Amazons. One was looked after by
The Atlanteans.
Yes, that's the one.
That's it. Yes.
But then, it was almost different importance set on, depending on where they were as to how much they were actually protected. Because there was one place. Well, the Amazonians seemed to be very much guarding it.
They had a whole regiment of Amazons.
Yeah. And then on Earth, it was kind of we kind of buried it somewhere.
Yeah,
we
they
don't
did,
really
yeah.
know where it is.
We buried it and forgot where.
Yeah,
But it also
we're so vague.
kind of MacGuffins its way because that's what where Cyborg comes from as well. Because he's
Yeah.
made from
Yeah.
from the Earth one that we found somewhere
Yeah.
off screen. Oh, and that was the one that they left off screen as well.
Yes.
Because it also brought Superman back from the dead.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then they
God,
just
yeah.
left it
Oh, God,
somewhere.
yeah, that
See,
did all of the
MacGuffin,
things, didn't it?
all the MacGuffins. That is
That was
terrible.
stupid.
Other ones that might help is the Allspark in the Transformers franchise.
The whole of the Transformers franchise, though,
Is
because
all
it's
again
one
MacGuffin.
giant
it's just
MacGuffin.
one. It's one thing.
Yeah.
The first one was the Allspark, and then they completely that didn't matter by the time of the second one, because the time of the second one, then it was the Matrix of Leadership. Then
I didn't see any more. I only watched the first one.
yeah,
I
they're all,
really
they're
gave
all,
up.
They're all terrible. It's like watching a seizure happen. With all this kind of swimming car parts all over the place.
Yeah, it's a bit too much. For
Yeah,
me,
but
I
then
know.
it was the Pillars of something or other that Robot Spock made, and then there was something else in the fourth one, and it's kind of every single one of these is at one of these absolutely most important objects in the entire universe, and then for the next film,
It's like it never existed.
They can be more plot relevant when they're used simply to solve a problem.
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably still quite lazy, but I don't think there's any good version of Cavalry anymore. I can't think of any reason why people are
see
still using that trope. The hero literally has a gun in their face and someone shoots the villain in the back. That's the worst version of this.
It is definitely.
Yeah, because they've painted themselves into a corner a little bit in the writing and then gone, I don't know how to get out of this. Well, let's just have this guy come back to life, then it'll be fine. It's a deep laziness of like, just write it better in the first place.
I've got one, which is the T-Rex arriving at the end of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I was going to say that's literally just come up on this list.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But the only reason that was in that wasn't laziness. He said originally it wasn't supposed to turn up, but they'd gone through and they'd done all the like the special effects stuff, and then Steven Spielberg kind of sat down and looked and thought, the audience will kill me if I don't put the T-Rex back in.
T-Rex, you know?
And we always need a bit more T-Rex, so that's why that
I
scene
really
came
love
in.
that moment in Jurassic Park, though.
It's
I
great,
know
isn't
it's really like, really, but at the same time, it's really entertaining.
It's just the whole thing where the T-Rex, because remember, this is also a female character as well, because all the dinosaurs are female.
Yeah, I love her.
So she comes in and grabs one of the things, throws it through the skeleton of the other T-Rex, and then kind of like...
Because that was the boy T-Rex. You fucking hated him.
Maybe that works partly because that T-Rex didn't come there to save them.
Yeah.
He's just more chaos on top of the other chaos.
Yeah.
Didn't like show up to go, I've got your back, guys.
Just turns up and goes, that looks tasty.
Well, let's wrap up by saying MacGuffins can be good, but the Cavalry
sucks.
probably
Probably
can't.
We better go on record.
We want...
There was a writer who was I can't remember what his name was now, but he wrote a lot of the kind of like pulp western novels, and he used to use it quite a lot. Okay. So maybe that's where it came from.
Maybe so. Well, stop it, storyteller. Not you, Mel. I was looking at you, but
Stop it, Mel.
So we would hope for less lazy writing, so less characters arriving to save the day at the last minute, or just random objects chucked in to fix a problem and for no other purpose.
Yeah, just try a bit harder. You know?
It is just laziness. It's like you get to the certain point, as you said, Mel, you paint yourself into the corner at the end of your script and you're like, don't know how to get out of this. Something happens.
Yeah, and
There's a thing with some stuff.
People lived happily ever
Turns out the
after.
answer was over here all along. Cool. All right, we'll be back next week. But do tune into our podcast on Wednesdays via iTunes or SoundCloud or whatever podcasting app you may choose to use. But bye for now.
Bye.